recent article in the Globe and Mail told the story of a 66-year-old man in Montreal named Antonio D'Alfonso who wanted to get married to his girlfriend in Toronto. After proposing 5 times and getting 5 rejections, the pair took a 2-year break, during which Antonio started to date other women. But he quickly learned the same thing. Older women were reluctant to live with their partners. So is this the new norm? That's what we want to talk about on Mind the Gap this week. And that's when, of course, we bring 2 people together from 2 different generations and get their take on the issues of the day. So let's bring in our panel. Giselle Covery is a Gen Xer and the president of Engine People Performance Incorporated. And she's in our Toronto studio. Jessica Morehouse is a millennial money expert. She is also in our downtown Toronto studio today. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Giselle, I want to start with you. What do you think of this story? Does it reflect a shift in attitudes amongst older women, the idea that they just don't want to live with their partners?
Well, I think that it's very interesting because it echoes a lot of the things that I hear from my friends' parents that perhaps are divorced now and have had a long marriage and decided that they might want to have a companion, but they don't want to live with someone, or they've been widowed. The research shows time and time again, when men are married, they live longer, and when women are married, they die sooner. So it does not surprise me that women say, forget it. You know, in many cases, they've had partners and they've taken care of their families and they say, yes, it'd be great to have a companion, but you can go to your house and I'll stay at mine. And we don't necessarily need men financially in the same way. And living with your partner isn't always what it's cracked up to be. So no, this doesn't surprise me. I think it's fantastic. And I think that this certainly will be a trend as baby boomers age. They can have a lot of fun things to do with a partner, but they don't necessarily need to cohabitate.
Yeah, Jessica, what do you think is happening here? What's your take on it?
Oh yeah, I read the article and I was just shaking my head. Yes, this is me. If I am, 65 or in my 70s and my husband is gone, I am going to live alone and be just quite happy. Even I feel like I've had conversations with my mom, and I hope she's not watching, but I'm pretty sure she would also be very happy alone if, my dad is not around. And it's just because I know that sounds terrible, but it's more just I think it's like women crave that independence when they are older, especially if you've been married for so long. And I think the article also mentioned, us women, we don't want to be caregivers later in life because we've done that throughout our whole lives. So we kind of want to be free and do whatever we want when we're older.
And that's what actually Antonio's girlfriend said to him, that she wants to be free and she wants to travel. A survey also found that senior women are 72% of women surveyed who are seniors were highly satisfied living on their own. But what do you think is going to happen to the flip side here to the men, Giselle, those who are surviving, those senior men who are alone and are looking for companionship?
Well, I think that generally they're still going to have women that want to have partners and may even want to take care of those partners. And statistically, men die before women. So that's why there's so many active women that are widows that are alive for years often after their husbands have passed or their partners have passed. So I still think that just the sheer numbers will allow men to have a choice of women. And so they might hit 5 women that say no, but maybe the 6th one will agree to it. And one of my guy friends said, oh no, this is not good news for me because it means I'm going to be alone even longer. Women, finally think I'm going to get older and women are going to want to live with me and they still saying no. So I think that, men will still have, in many cases, choices, but no surprise, a lot of women are saying, that's just not for me.
And Jessica, just really quickly here, do you think that this is going to perhaps get younger people to think, maybe I'm just going to rethink marriage altogether?
Probably. I think right now when you're young, you do crave that companionship. You do want to live with someone. You want to build a life together. Me and my husband, we kind of grew up together because we got together in our 20s. But as we approach, later years, I think what we want will definitely change.
Okay. Now we do want to move on to our next topic because Christmas is right around the corner and there are increasing calls for Santa Claus to be more inclusive and representative. So the question is whether there is a need for St. Nick to change, or is it just another case of trying to fix something that isn't broken? Giselle, what do you think?
Well, Santa's real, and he lives in the North Pole, and he's getting ready for a very, very important Christmas
Yeah,
in a
he's
couple
busy.
of weeks. So I don't think we can replace Santa because he exists and he's really important to many people that may be watching the show right now. The reality is that I think that we can certainly have friends that Santa might have that are going to be different and that can be more inclusive and can represent different things. But I love all things traditional for Christmas, and I don't think we need to change Santa at all. I think he's absolutely perfect the way he is.
Jessica, now there are, of course, a lot of helpers that Santa has out there this time of year. There are people that are saying, hey, maybe they need to modernize Santa Claus a little bit. I think we have some images of a hipster modern Santa, new hair, iPhone, tattoos. He's on a diet, apparently, wearing skinny jeans. He's got some new kicks, too. What do you think of this hipster Santa, Jessica?
I'm not a big fan of hipster Santa. I'm definitely for kind of diversifying because, like, let's be honest, all of the stories about Santa, he always kind of looks the same. I definitely think there's room to kind of change it up because, I mean, I've never met Santa. I don't think many people have. I don't know who has. So we don't really know what he looks like. So maybe we're getting it wrong. Maybe he is a woman. Maybe he looks very different than what's represented. Hipster Santa, though, I have a problem with a Santa in skinny jeans. Like, I can't do that. Sorry.
How
That's
would
where
he
I draw
get
the
down
line.
chimney? Right.
He's not going to be skinny jeans after all those Christmas cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Giselle, though, do you think that because there are some people who are saying, hey, maybe he needs to be gender neutral, his representatives could be more gender neutral. Do you think there is such a thing as being too politically correct?
Well, I think the political correctness question is much broader than just Santa. I think that, that's, again, a really big topic. But I think that when we think about Santa, I think that Santa can have other friends, and then those people can represent other things. And it's not just maybe Christmas. Maybe there's a friend that represents Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. We could have Kwanzaa Claus. I don't know. Maybe there's different friends that can be part of the celebration to be more inclusive. And I think that's always a great thing. But I think that oftentimes we try to remake the old, and the old and the new can exist in, and as I jokingly say, in peaceful harmony. So we can have, Santa that we grew up with understanding and knowing, and we can also have a new, friend for Santa that might be more representative of other parts of our society. And I think those two people, the old and the new, can be perfectly great friends together.
And Jessica, finally, what do you think? Do you think that perhaps we need to start moving in a new direction here, just to, I guess, give Santa a little bit of a revamp?
Yeah, I think, maybe we need to evolve a little bit, maybe freshen him up a little bit. And I think it's also up to parents to really share whatever version of Santa that they want to the kids. I don't think there's any wrong way in doing that.
Okay, well, let's leave it there. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this week, Giselle Covery and Jessica Morehouse.